Bonjour. Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's Sunday morning, May 27th. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page. This is the morning card draw. I draw a card every day, and I had decided to share it with everybody here at the Star Nations community. It is a hot, humid day here in Tomo, Wisconsin. It is it's beautiful, it's beautiful out, but it's really hot. It's going to be like 96 or 98 degrees today. Yay! Like I said yesterday, it's better than minus 30 with the wind chill. So we're going to be good with that. Excuse me. So I'm up here at the Star Nations Academy, and it's quiet. It's quiet today. I think that everybody is off to the parades or whatever that is, whatever they do for Memorial. Early in my marriage, when Paul was in the National Guard, we spent a lot of Memorial Days, Labor Days, 4th of July at parades because, the military is always in the local parades. And I've watched more parades by myself, waving to my husband as he goes by. But we don't do the parades anymore. So, hey, Jill Conrad, welcome. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. That's what I used to say to Ginger, my dog, when she was with us. Every morning, we'd greet each other, and I'd say, good morning, good morning, good morning, furry girl. And so, yeah, I miss her a lot these days. Yeah. So, guess what? Guess what card we drew this morning? This is a good one. They're all good, but the artwork on this one I just really like a lot. The pipe, inner prayer and inner peace. Gotta tilt it the right way here. Pull it back. A chanupa, a sacred pipe, and the pipe bag. And if you take a look at the artwork on it, you'll see the colors of the medicine wheel on it. From the Seneca tradition, because that's the direction that Jamie Sams writes, and she's the author of the cards that I'm using. A deck I've had for a really long time. It's called the Sacred Path Cards by Jamie Sams. She's got a couple of decks, a few decks, and several books. I've got both. I've got this deck and also the medicine card deck. And the medicine card deck is the companion to this deck. So the way she has it worked out that if you do the actual, the full different spreads that she has outlined in the book, you can also draw from the medicine cards to see what power animals or totems would be helpful in that greeting. So it's actually quite a comprehensive method that she has. So here's the card again. Pipe, prayer, and inner peace. The Osheti-Sakoan, the Sioux Nation, the Sioux language, that's a chanupa, and a sacred pipe. Not to be confused with a peace pipe. That's different. That's Hollywood. That's a misinterpretation, probably, of a native language. This is a sacred pipe. Let's see who's in here. Elise is here. Good morning, Elise. And Mary, hi. Good to have you here. And Terry Ruel, the world traveler. Welcome home, Terry. Terry was one of the blessed souls who was on the travel to Greece and Italy, and they just got back. You guys, thank you, by the way, Terry, and everybody else that was on that trip to share all of those wonderful pictures, beautiful, beautiful pictures with us. I enjoyed them, and I know that a lot of other people did too. So thank you so much. The pipe. The pipe is one of the gifts that the Osheti-Sakoan say in their tradition was given to them by the White Buffalo Calf woman. And it's one of the 7 blessings that she brought to them, right? And I think we know more about that particular culture here in the United States on Turtle Island because all of the sharing of information that that nation, that great nation, the Great Sioux Nation has done in the last probably 15, 20 years. It wasn't always that way. I can remember growing up, my Misha would be saying that, that there's certain things that we couldn't share. We couldn't share things about tobacco. We couldn't share things about our native name with people from outside of our nation, outside of our tribe. And he was actually referring to the Europeans. So, so having this kind of information is really a gift. It really is. To be able to get the information directly from people who use the sacred pipe or the tobacco or any of the other things that we talk about. In my family, we also use the pipe as well. It's not necessarily, how do I want to say this? It's a special pipe, but it's only special because you use it for special occasions. You use it for special ceremonies. So the pipe could have the long stem that you see with most of the tunupas with the bowl, right? The pipe stone, and they can be quite long, right? From those kind of pipes to the kind of pipe maybe you saw your grandpa or great uncle or somebody else like that smoking, the shorter ones. My grandpa had one that was shorter, and in the Potawatomi tradition, we do use tobacco in the pipe. And it's a communal. So they say the prayer. The tobacco that's put into the pipe, there's prayers said for whatever purpose that we're having the ceremony, and the pipe itself represents the balance between the genders, male and female. The pipe stem is the male and the bowl is the female, and the female is the one that holds the tobacco, the prayers. The pipe stem is what brings in the sacred breath from the Creator, because that's who gave us our breath, right? And so we're praying. We take in the smoke. Don't necessarily inhale. Some people do, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary to inhale into your lungs. You hold it into your mouth, and when you blow it out, you're blowing out the prayers that went into the sacred medicine, the tobacco, through the sacred pipe, and with your breath, you're sending it out to all of creation. When we do those kind of ceremonies with tobacco, we're actually calling on everything the Creator made, the entire universe, all of creation. We're asking to support, to bless whatever it is that we're praying for. So we have the entire universe behind us, right? Working with us. And so when we blow out the smoke, the smoke is taking the prayers out to the Creator and out to all the rest of our relatives, everyone, from the stars to the planets, the sun, the moon, all the waters, everything green, the stone people, everybody. We're sending it out to, and it, for me, since I was just a little one, because even the little ones are part of the ceremony. They don't actually take the smoke into their mouth. Usually what they're done is they just take it to their lips, or they'll leave the person helping them will even just touch it on their shoulder or somewhere on their body, so that it's in their energy field. That's what we would call it, right? And then they would pass it on. So even the children are involved. So when we're working with the pipe, it's a very sacred thing. It's very sacred. And I know that to be a pipe carrier is a true blessing. It's not something that that you think, oh, it'd be so cool to have a pipe, you know. It'd be really cool. So I'm going to go out and get one. I'm going to get myself a pipe. That's not how it works. Sometimes it's an elder who has been watching you, right? They see it and they arrange for a pipe to be given to you through ceremony, depending on the culture, which tribe. And other times, spirit will bring it to you, possibly in a dream, in a vision. You know, one of those dreams where you can't tell if you're awake or asleep. One of those, where a spirit will come and give you a pipe. And so basically that's how I got my pipe, is that and a couple of different times I was given a sacred pipe by spirit. And I really didn't say anything to anybody about it. And it wasn't until on my drive to Michigan one time, I had a conversation with my spiritual team for 6 hours practically. Every time I even tried to turn on the radio, things would happen that I would have to turn off the radio, or I couldn't get get the station to come in. And so I was in conversation for 6 hours with my spiritual team. And they talked to me about the pipe. And so I made arrangements. I stopped and bought some pipe tobacco. And when I got to Denise's house, I was telling her about it. And that weekend in ceremony, I was given a pipe. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought I would have to go through something, an initiation, training, class, not classes, but you know what I mean, to be with a mentor, a teacher. And that didn't happen. Jan Beaver, one of our contributing writers, she's from Canada, was in the ceremony with us in the Inipi in the Sweat Lodge, and she was the older sister to be a part of that ceremony, the gifting of. And so that's how I got my pipe. It's not like, I know there's some people will go to like Pipestone, Minnesota. Now I haven't actually personally been there, and there were our next door neighbors, right? Minnesota, but I haven't been there. From what I understand, there is they have a store where they have pipes on display to be purchased. And some people actually do that. They buy their own pipe. But that's to get it through the Oshati Sakoin, the Great Sioux Nation, the Lakota. It's a much different culture than it is for, say, for the Potawatomi, right? And so there's different ways of using a pipe. In the Potawatomi tradition, we would be using pipe tobacco. Sometimes it is tobacco that we actually grew ourselves and dried. It takes a while for that to cure, by the way. You can't use it right away. And the Lakota pipe, the Chinoopa, uses conchacha, and they do refer to that as tobacco, but it's different. It's different. It's actually white and red willow, and they don't inhale that at all. That's just held in the mouth and blown out. And so, it's just a different way of doing it. Same principle, same intent, and the sacred item, the pipe, holds the same power, if you want. That's not even the right word. It's sacred, right? It's the same thing. It's just the contents that you put into the bowl of the pipe is just a bit different. So a little segue. Sorry, I'm going to digress just a bit. I got my my mug yesterday in the mail. My travel mug. I have a regular mug. I have actually a couple of them for Star Nations, but nothing that I can actually put in the car without sloshing around, right? So it came in the mail yesterday. Yay. I have my coffee in it. I wanted to share that no matter which pipe you have, which culture it comes from, just like in a drum, it has an individual spirit in there, a spirit that resides into that in the drum. There's a spirit that resides in the pipe, and so it is a ally, if you will. It is a spirit who is meant to be in your life to help you, and so. For me, in my tradition, it's that pipe is a living, breathing being, a sentient being, and so and we treat it with honor and respect. Yeah. Jill is saying, will you please spell the words you're using for the sacred pipe and for the red and white willow blend? Sure. Let's see if I can remember how to spell Kinshasa. Can't remember how to spell Kinshasa. I'm going to have to get this spelling from somebody for the Kinshasa. The Chinupa is spelled this way. That's the sacred pipe. Not to be confused with peace pipe. You know where the confusion came in with the peace pipe? I think it probably had to do with translating a native language into English or into French, probably. The reason why pipes are smoked sometimes is because you are creating a good relation with somebody. So they say that when you have the tobacco and the pipe together, that that only the truth can be spoken, right? And so when you're first meeting somebody or you're discussing something, maybe even negotiating something, that before you even start the negotiations or that specific conversation, you might sit down and smoke the pipe together. And that is creating a trusting relationship. And then there's other times when the pipe is used for ceremonies. For my family, when we do ceremony for like the naming, if somebody's getting an eagle feather, if somebody has passed away, walked on, and seeing with that, we do 4 years, we get together to have a meal, a ghost meal with the soul who has crossed over. And in those meals, before we eat, we do a ceremony, and the pipe is used in that ceremony. And we also use water. We drink from a communal cup, spring water, and because that's the blood, the lifeblood of Grandmother Earth. And so, and we're her children, right? So that ceremony we use the pipe for. But with the pipe, Jamie Sams writes from the Lakota or the Great Sioux Nation, the Oseti Stokoi culture, and a little bit from her Seneca roots, as she writes about the pipe. And she says that that the pipe is a way to pray, speak truth, and heal wounded or broken relationships. She says the bowl of the pipe represents the female aspects of all living things, and the stem is the symbol of the male aspect in all life forms. And so when you have the stem and the bowl put together, there's balance, right? But it also signifies union, creation, and fertility. So, because you're creating something, right? Whether you're praying for it or you're creating a better or a trusting relationship. I'm trying to see. There was one other place that just kind of jumped out at me. She says we find union with all our relations when we share the pipe, because we put just a little bit of either the tobacco or the conchacha into the bowl of the pipe. And when you do it through the Lakota way, there's certain songs that are sung to fill the pipe bowl. And each pinch that you take is for one of our relations, whether it's the stars or whether it's the four directions. So everybody is put into the pipe because we're smoking it together. She says that to be a pipe carrier is an honor and a calling, and I most certainly agree. When you pick up the medicine of the pipe, it's not something that you can ever walk away from or put down. It's the same way with the drum. When you use the drum in a ceremonial way, in a way of life, you can never walk away from it. You can't put it down. And so with the pipe, it's always a part of your life, and it's a lifestyle. And so many times, someone will contact me, whether it's, Facebook or text or call, and they say there's stuff going on in their life, and could you please pray for somebody, or somebody's sick, or, and so lots of times, what I used to do was light a candle and say a prayer, go into meditation for that person. And now what I do is I light my pipe for that person. She says that it's through visions or dreams, usually from long preparation and purification, that one is called to serve our people as a pipe carrier. It's not a fad, a trend. It's a way of life, and it comes from the heart. And I so agree. The medicine way, she says, is a long and narrow trail of discovery with constant rebirth. And that's another thing I agree with. Just when you think that, okay, I think I got this, I'm understanding it, I'm living it, I'm embracing it, it's joyful. The next layer or the next piece will come in. And sometimes you kind of lose your balance a little bit, right? It's either a shock, something, happens that you didn't see it coming. They say your mind didn't see it coming. Your soul saw it coming, but maybe not your mind. And so, then we get the next layer, right? Because we're here to learn. We're here to experience. She says the pipe carriers serve the people. She says that peace is a way of acting, knowing, creating, listening, speaking, and or living. Because to be a pipe carrier, you really have to have your balance. You have to be centered to be able to do the best when you're working with the pipe. And so when you're balanced, centered, cleared, right? When you're coming into something in a good way, you're peaceful. You're at peace. You have inner peace, is what I'm trying to say. Inner peace. And she says that it's about living in harmony. She says, remember that, she told a story about how one of her teachers, one of her mentors, a grandfather, was teaching her about the pipe. And he said that remember that you are responsible for what you put in your circle, and that your circle will also touch many other circles. You will need to live in a way that allows the good that comes from your circle to send out the peace of that goodness to others. And basically, he was using the metaphor, or he took her to a pond and had her drop a stone into the pond and then watch, the ripple, right? You get that ripple effect. And in that learning that she had is that he was telling her to see those circles and how they're moving out from the center of where you drop the stone. And that is all of your feelings, all of your thoughts, and how it affects everyone else. And so that's what he was saying, is that you have to be mindful, you have to be aware of what you're putting in your circle, because it's going to radiate out. It's going to be felt by all of our relation. Everyone feels it, not just the people next to you. Yeah, when you think about that, the trees, the stones, your gardens, everything feels your vibration, your thoughts. He says that we cannot create world peace if we're riddled with inner conflict, hatred, doubt, and anger. And I think that's one of the reasons why we spend time working on healing ourselves, right? Healing those emotional and mental traumas, and looking for the root. Where did it start? How did it begin? No matter what emotion it was, whether it's, and we talked a little bit about that yesterday, whether it is anger or fear or, something, whatever it was that triggered me is only on the surface. So let's go deeper. Why did that trigger me? How did it trigger me? Where did it start? How can I go to the root of it to start healing it, and for it to be healed, for it to be done, or at least that layer of that to be done. And so that's what that means. She says that so sacred is a person's word and honor that it is to be upheld, even if the cost paid dearly is that person's life. Anytime the pipe is shared, the words spoken and agreements made are based upon the Indian belief, idea of honor, truth, and mutual understanding stemming from each other's inner peace. See, when I read that, I sat back and I thought a little bit about history. When Native nations met with delegations from the U.S. government, nearly all of those meetings started with a prayer and the smoking of the pipe. And so you talk about communication, miscommunication, is that the pipe and the sharing of the pipe is so deeply revered and believed and honored because it's so sacred. And to be able to smoke that pipe to build a trusting relationship, that the other person, the people within that circle who's sharing that pipe, the Native Americans, no matter which nation it was under the understanding that because the other people were in the circle and they took the pipe and they smoked the pipe with them, that they were building a trusting relationship and that they could trust this other person. Now, and the delegation coming from the government, they didn't understand those nuances and the full meaning, the depth of what they just did in that circle. And so when the manipulation occurred with the signing of the treaties and reneging on those treaties, our ancestors who thought they were dealing in with a good heart with other people, that was the shock. That was what just happened. And so, I had to sit there and think about that a little bit. And I understand, I think I understand how that miscommunication could have happened. When you think that because it's your belief, it's the way that you live your life, that others are going to understand it and hold it as meaningful as you do, and that simply isn't true. Not unless we share it, not unless we explain it, do others really understand. And they may never hold your belief as strongly and as closely to your heart as you do. And I think that's where we go back to being able to share our belief systems, and not impose it on someone else, but to help understand it, right? So whenever you are in, I love your non-showy. Thank you, Elise. I don't really want to call it a show. I really don't, because to me, that puts a whole nother spin on it. And who knows, maybe someday we'll do that. But for right now, it's just getting together and having our coffee and pulling a card and saying, I wonder what this energy for today is going to bring us. What's important about it. And so if you ever find yourself in a ceremony and with Native people, and they are beginning it with a pipe, and a pipe ceremony with a prayer, now you know how deeply they hold the belief that in sharing this pipe, you're beginning a trusting relationship. You're nurturing a trusting relationship. You're asking all of creation to come to you and to help you to nurture this trusting relationship. And of course, whatever it is that that the prayer is for. So the next time, if you ever get the chance, if you've never had the opportunity to be in a pipe ceremony, put that out there. Ask for it. Say, I would like to experience that in a good way. In a good way. Yeah. The pipe. Yeah, I love the artwork on this stuff too. These cards. That Jamie Sams did a really good job in bringing all this information together, and the illustrator she worked with, right? I think so. So she says with the pipe the application of that card, she says the pipe card speaks of inner peace, and that can be found through the balancing of the self. It is now time to honor both sides of your nature, the male and the female, and to acknowledge the internal flame of the Great Spirit that lives inside you. How you influence the lives of others depends on this balance. And I have to say that, those in our community at Star Nations, we are consciously walking our path, our medicine path, our earth walk. That's how you found us. If you're new to Star Nations, you're looking for information. You're searching for ways to assist you and to be able to walk your path in a more balanced way. Healing what needs to be healed, right? That's what I like about it. She says that inner peace can be found through prayer and understanding of your role in the whole of creation. World peace begins in the heart of each individual. It may be time to make peace with others or with any inner conflict that keeps you from seeing the beauty of your true potential. So when you have inner peace, when you have peace with yourself, you know your true potential, and you radiate that peace out. Now think about this. In the world in which we live in, the energy field in which we live in today, and you take a look at those world leaders, or even your U.S. senators or representatives, those political people from your local all the way up to the global. Look at the ones who are actually talking about peace and negotiating for peace, right? And who isn't? Who is threatening others, and who isn't? That's one layer. And then once you get through that layer, then you have to look at those people that are actually talking about peace. Are they really talking about peace, or are they really talking about what they're going to gain personally by this negotiation? I think that we're able to discern for ourselves that, because you can feel when somebody is telling you the truth, when they're talking their own truth, when they're feeling it and they're expressing it to you. You can feel that. And you can also feel when someone is not. And so the inner peace is what Jamie Sams is talking about, is that inner peace is that when we feel that inner peace, we can also feel our true potential. She says that in all cases, the pipe card asks you to honor the blessings given to you by the great mystery. It asks you to honor who you are and why you are here. It asks that you can it asks how you can assist our world in making peace with the self. These questions will be answered and the sacred path will become clearer. So here's the pipe card. I think it's a pretty good one. It brings up a lot of good stuff for us to talk about, to share. Yeah. Now, I have to say that there was a couple cards, 3 cards actually, that jumped out this morning. First, it was the pipe. And then it was this card, the South Shield, about the innocence of an inner child. And look at that. Now, that is not a wolf. That is a coyote, the trickster. There. The South Shield. And Jamie Sams, when she wrote about this particular card, she was saying that the energy of the South, which is also the color red for her, is about the inner child. This is where the human life begins. Our physical life begins, that childhood. The childhood that we can remember, right? The memories of our inner child. And she's saying that with this particular card and the innocence of the inner child, the innocence of the inner child is the one, and the play is the one, that's the balance for us. The balance. There we go back to the balance thing. That when we're, as adults, we're so serious. And so in order to balance that out, that we have to allow our inner child to play. And to also to be kind of irreverent at times, so however that plays out in your world, to take the time to play. And talking about the pipe is serious business. You know what? I forgot to read the poem for you for the pipe, didn't I? The pipe is sacred and is serious. And then I get the play card, the innocence of the inner child. I'm going to read the pipe poem to you because I think it's a really good one, okay? It says, "Pipe of my forefathers, teach me to sing praise for all the gifts that great mystery gave. Allow me to know my spirit's release and to bring my heart eternal peace." Yeah, to feel that peace in your heart, that inner peace. I like that one. So with this particular card, she was talking about how when we're children, there's a time when we had very little fear. Very little fear. And then fear, she says, can destroy the sparkling synchronicity of our internal timing and lay waste to the perfection of our beautiful uniqueness. And and the things that build fear does start in childhood, unfortunately. But there's a point in our lives where we held no fear and only knew love. And so what she's saying is that we have that memory, and that to allow that memory out, that there's 3 paths to the South Shield, and it has everything to do with the child, the playfulness, and that there's that balance between the serious times and the laughter, and to bring balance to yourself, right? And the other one, now this one you're not going to like too much. It's about physically fit. Is that when our physical body is fit, that we can actually have more relaxation, that we can enjoy life much more. It's about knowing our physical body and finding a way to play and to be physical, that physical fitness, so that the tension within our physical bodies are released. And that part I get. It's when you call it exercise that I love to dance. Let's go dancing. Let's have some fun with that. And the lifting weights and going to the gym and that kind of thing. I don't know. I know it's good for you, but I'm not committed to it either. So what we need to do is find a way to be physically fit, but to also have fun with it, so that we do it, right? And she's saying that that we have a sense of freedom when our physical body is fit, and we also know our physical body much better when we're physically fit. And the third one was a mirror. The third gift to understanding this shield was a mirror. And in her story, she says that in her vision, the mirror had been broken, and she was upset about it because she broke this mirror. And her teacher is telling her that that everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why the mirror broke, was to show you something. It was to show you that when you can destroy the illusion of who you are to others and be yourself, you will have restored your innocence. So the breaking of the mirror was about destroying the illusion. And and when I read that, I had to think, I can kind of understand that. It seems to me that sometimes we show a different facet of ourselves depending on who we're with. We're one way with our parents or our grandparents. We're one way with our best friends. We're another way with our boss or employer. And sometimes those versions of us isn't the truth. It's not the truth. Some people would call it a mask. Some people would call it the coyote, the trickster. He's also known as a shapeshifter. So the breaking of the mirror was about breaking the illusion and coming to the truth. And we've talked about that a little bit too in other card draws. We're becoming more and more who we were meant to be here, to vibrate at our true vibration, closer and closer, and so that there's some people who leave our lives because we're no longer vibrating in the same way, and so when the illusion is broken and we get to see and be our true selves, we also get to feel our true vibration. We get to sense it, and others sense it. So you're no longer wearing your mask. You're no longer creating this illusion with the mirrors. What's that old saying about smoke and mirrors? Talk about politicians, right? Smoke and mirrors. And so when the mirror is shattered, the illusion is broken. Yeah, Jill is saying, oh, that's huge, the breaking of the mirror. Yeah, it is. It is. In some cultures, in some traditions, there's a belief that when you break a mirror, it's bad luck. 7 years bad luck. Think about that. And then think about, okay, that's one way to look at it, literally in the mirror. The other is the shattering of the mirror breaks the illusion. So it depends on your perspective, I suppose. And Jill says, I hope that part of the shift to the fourth density is about no more mirrors. Oh, and there's another one with mirrors is, when you go to carnivals, right? They have the house of mirrors. And when you go in, it's all about illusion and how they have them situated or placed. And so what you see and how you see it, right? Yeah, the house of mirrors. So the shattering of the mirror is one of the gifts of the South Shield. It says the third path to the South Shield is through being who you are and understanding the beauty of that original essence. And that's one of the things we're striving for, aren't we? Is to understand who we really are and why we really came here to be here at this time. And, the thing is our soul already knows all of this. It is the revealing and accepting, embracing it through our mental mind. And there's my husband. He thinks I'm supposed to be done by now, but I'm not. Just a minute, Paul. He's trying to close the door very quietly. He's going to come in now. There he goes. Walks around. You want to say hi?
I don't know. Who want to say hi to?
Hey guys, do you want Paul? You want to meet Paul? Okay. We're live streaming. We're talking to Elise and Jill and Jocelyn. And let's see, I think Margaret's with us too. This is my husband, Paul. He's my AV guy. He's the one that when I say, this doesn't work, he'll come up and take a look at it. And usually it's something pretty easy to do. So anyway, the South Shield is about balance in your inner child. Your inner child. And let that inner child out to play. Remember to be playful, she says. The more serious you take the game, the less chance any of us have of winning. So we need, yeah, he's a good guy. We've been together for 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it at all. Now, there was a third card that jumped out, and it's one that we've already talked about before, but I think it goes along with the South Shield and having fun and sharing. It's about the powwow, sharing, quickening. We talked about that. Powwows are meant to be social, fun. You get to meet new friends, make new friends, see people that you haven't seen in a long time, and have fun. Now, Paul and I were supposed to go to a powwow today. I'm not dancing in 96-degree sunshine, I'm just going to do it. And so we'll probably end up going maybe tomorrow, and he can help fold the flags. But our fun is going to look a little bit different this afternoon than what we thought. Maybe what I'll do is just play powwow music in my air-conditioned house and dance in the kitchen or something. Yeah. Yeah. So everybody is saying glad to see you, Paul.
Okay.
Hi, Paul.
Okay.
And yeah, they're very spiritual too. Powwows, yes, they can be. Absolutely. Because what they do is they start the powwow with a prayer. They have the flag song, grand entry, And then there's other things that happen in between the dancing, the songs. Sometimes somebody gets an eagle feather. Sometimes there's a family giveaway for some reason. They're honoring a family member. So there's prayers and ceremony around that. And then there's also food. There's all kinds of food, all kinds of vendors. And there's, what do we call that? Sacred shopping, right? Yeah, you can do that too. All right. Well, I thank you so much for being with me this morning to talk about the pipe. He thinks he's being quiet and he's not. So anyway, thank you for being here. And I will see you tomorrow is Monday. I want to sleep tomorrow. So I'll see you Tuesday for the next card draw at 10 a.m. right here. And on Tuesday night is my show for the live stream with using Be Live TV, our partners at to help us do really cool live stream shows. We're going to be doing the Unity Breath meditation on Tuesday night. So if you want to join me for that, it is a meditation that's all about love and about the frequency of love and what it feels like. And the more often you do that meditation and recognize that vibrational field, you learn how to hold it longer and longer and longer. So you can join me at 8 p.m. Eastern, that's 7 p.m. Central, for communications from home. And we're going to be doing the guided meditation, the Unity Breath. Tomorrow on Tuesday at noon Eastern Time is Polly Jo LeBay's show, Chakra Sessions. And she's talking about the heart chakra. On Tuesday at noon, she teaches us about that particular chakra, whatever one that is that week, and then also leads us in a healing meditation for that particular chakra. So that'll be a good one. And Wednesday night, Polly Jo's back, and she's doing soul connections. And that particular hour and a half with her is about healing the healer. She does a channeled guided meditation to set the sacred space for us. We work with our individual spiritual teams and to release, to heal whatever your intention is. And then she does a card draw for us. And if you'd like to have a card drawn for you, it's a divine message. So, and Thursday night, it's going to be a busy week. Thursday, we have elders here at Star Nations. In the morning at 10:30 Eastern is Connie Shearwater and Spiritual Mysteries of Life. And you got to meet Connie. Oh, she is such a sweetheart. But you know what she helps us understand from her perspective about how spirit works in our life. And then Thursday night is Carl and Orchun Franklin, the Mystery School. And I'll be producing both those shows, so you might see me. The show with the Franklins is going to be about our human potential. It's going to be a good show. So you can join them. They're on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday night. So we got a really good week of shows coming up for you. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. And I'll see you back here on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Okay? All right. And Bama Mina until we see each other again. Oh, wait. Mary has something to say. Sorry about that, Mary. I'm going to actually read this. I'm so glad I have had a few days off to catch the live non-show. But Tuesday, I'll be back to work and we'll listen to the archive. Okay. Blessings to you, Neshi. Thank you and your family and the Star Nation peeps. Thank you so much, Mary. And don't you just love those archive shows? I do, the recorded videos, because I can't make every single one of them, so I try to catch the archive. Thank you, Jill saying thanks. And Jocelyn, happy Memorial Day to Paul and I. Thank you, Jocelyn. And yep, Elise saying see you Tuesday. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday morning. Bama Mina.